Assalamualaikum and good morning, madam. My name is Aminurrasyid bin Yusri, and today I will be presenting my second assessment of proofreading and editing, which is the presentation based on the first assessment, which is the written report that I submitted. Before we can get into it, here is the brief overview of what we'll be going through today. Starting off with the original document, then the language errors such as punctuation, subject-verb agreement, and article errors, the context error, content, and finally the conclusion. Without further ado, let's start. Now, starting off with the original report, this is what I've managed to submit on the first assessment and what I'll be presenting today. This is not the entirety of the report. I only add bits that we will be discussing in this presentation. For only this managed to make somewhat of a mess on the slides. So for the summary, this research investigates the factors that contribute a low academic performance among grade 11 students at First Providential College. The study found that internet distraction, lack of interest in learning, and poor study habits are among the main reasons of low grades. The finding aims to help teachers, parents, and students better understand and address these issues and to improve the academic achievement in the Providential College. I will starting off the language error with the first punctuation error. The first error that I found is a research paper presented to. The only correction I made is to add the colon because it is needed to introduce a formal heading or title. The second one is to T. Jennifer Oriola, PFPL teacher, but also an English teacher. The punctuation correction that I made is to add a comma before the but because it is required when joining two clauses to make it much more fluent. The last one is above all to God Almighty for giving the wisdom and knowledge. This I added also the comma because it is needed in the series before the final item, which is the wisdom and knowledge, between the wisdom and knowledge. Moving on to the third language error, which is subject-verb agreement. The first error that I found was this research wished to dedicate this work to all parents and teachers. The correction I've made was to turn the wish into wishes because the research is singular, so it requires the plural form of the wish, which is wishes. The second one is grade is vary in every student because it shows the ranks of the students in academic performance. I changed the correction of the year, which is grade is vary in every student because it shows the rank of the students in academic performance. Because the singular every, the students does not require to be plural, more on to be singular, which is student and not students. Lastly, traditionally serves as the overall measure of assessment of child success in school. The correction I've made is to change the serve to serves because it is the correct plural noun for the singular subject traditionally. Lastly, for the language errors, which is the article error, the first error that I found is the explication of having a low grades, which the correction I removed the A in A low grades because no article is needed before the plural noun used generally. The second error, for sharing his knowledge by conducting a research. Also, this is corrected by also removing the article A because research is uncountable, so no article is needed for the sentence. Lastly, for her tips on presenting and conduct a research. This I also remove the article A and turn the conduct into conducting. This is because the parallel verb requires consistent forms. As the presenting, it has to be consistent with conducting, so that is why. Now let's move on to content error. The first error that I found is this study is set to achieve its goal through the help of 10 students of grade 8 students. The error that I defined is the accuracy in information. And the correction that I've made is this study is set to achieve its goal through the help of 10 respondents of grade 11 students. This is because the study is about grade 11 students, so mentioning grade 8 students is incorrect and confusing. Moving on to the second one, this paper is recommended to all teachers, parents, and students. The error that I found is the purpose, which is in academic writing, and the correction I've made is this paper recommends strategies for teachers, parents, and students. This is because a research paper should present ideas, not recommend itself to others. Lastly, there was 3 major reasons of having a low grade: procrastination, idleness, and delayed papers. This falls into the form error in organization and clarity, and the correction that I've made was there were 3 major reasons for low grades: procrastination, idleness, and delayed submissions. This is because the sentence is unclear and not well organized, making the idea hard to understand and interpret to speakers. Now on the context error. The first error that I found is First City Providential College appears repeatedly on every page. This is a layout error, and the correction that I've made is place the text only in a proper header or remove the repetition on every section. The justification for this is repeating the same heading on every page make the document look cluttered and unprofessional. The second error is in the table of content, which is the inconsistent dots, as you can see in the table, chapter 1, ... space ... This is a formatting error, and I corrected by making the dots and the spaces consistent. This is because the inconsistent dot and spacing make the table of content messy and hard to read. Lastly, research design, a descriptive study. This is a structure error, and I corrected it by research design is used as a heading followed by a new line, a descriptive study. The heading is not clearly separated from the paragraph, which affects the readability and structure. For the conclusion, the proofreading process revealed a range of grammatical, punctuation, and spelling that affected the clarity and effectiveness of the text. Through careful analysis and correction, these errors were identified and revised to improve readability, coherence, and professionalism. Overall, the effective proofreading enhances the quality of a text and helps convey the ideas more clearly and more credibly. With that, I'd like to thank you, Miss, for your time and attention for going through my presentation. That is all. Assalamualaikum and goodbye.